Good sportsmanship is about winning with integrity and losing with grace.
Athletics teach lifetime values such as respect for your opponents, referees, classmates, and teachers. There are few better places than in athletic competition to display respect for one another.
Take the oath of sportsmanship. Respect the rules, respect the officials, respect the opponents. Cheer for your team, not against the other.
My name is John Korsmo.
And I'm Bethany Korsmo.
We have 3 kids. They're Avery, Henry, and Preston.
What I love about Lincoln Christian is that the teachers will drop everything in their day to help a child come to Christ.
Looking back when we were considering sending our kids to LCS, the financial was one of the biggest considerations, but if you just take a step of faith, it's always seemed to work. So take the step of faith.
Hi, I'm Mark Powell, Director of Stewardship and Advancement here at Lincoln Christian School, and thank you for watching Strive TV on the Crusader Sports Network.
Welcome to tonight's boys reserve basketball game between the Lincoln Christian Crusaders and the Raymond Central Mustangs. Lincoln Christian coming off of a big close win last Saturday against the Louisville Lions. What do you think the keys for tonight's game are going to be?
Well, the Crusaders have great size on the inside, and watch them look for their big men inside and push it with their speedy guards up the court as they like to get the game going and contest the other team's conditioning with their speed.
Yeah, a little something about last year's reserve game. This was at Raymond Central, and it got a little chippy, and there was a little physical. I understand you had a little issue as well, so we'll see if any of that transfers over to this year. Looks like it'll be Parker Bash tipping off for the Crusaders, and that's Micah Rubel for Raymond Central. And Parker tips it to Ben, who quickly gets it over to Clough. Can't quite finish the little 2-footer. Wick can't follow up, and then the Raymond Central gets the rebound.
Looked like a little bit of a tip play set there for the Crusaders as tipped it to Ewers, and then Ewers threw a kind of a back cut to Clough, and great look there for the Crusaders. Couldn't quite finish.
Yeah, that's a play that the Lincoln Christian JV coach Noah Borgman likes to run a lot, and he's on the sideline tonight for the Crusaders, so definitely something that he probably had a hand in. Lincoln Christian in a man-to-man defense. That's inside 32. Rubel throws up a little one-handed, kind of like an almost hook shot, but no good. Hanson going the other way for the Crusaders. Raymond Central also in a man-to-man, I should say. Hanson inside to Parker on the pick and roll, and he finishes.
Looked like number 10, Dane Wilson, there was switched on to Parker Bash, and Parker Bash had a little bit of a size advantage there. Raymond Central might have to rethink what they're trying to do on their screens, as Crusaders' size will help them a lot on those switches.
Yeah, if they're going to switch that all night, there's going to be trouble, as Rubel is getting hounded by Clough, can't go anywhere. And that's going to force Raymond Central to call a timeout. It's a great defensive possession after a great offensive possession for the Lincoln Christian Crusaders. Yeah, as you talked about, Lincoln Christian, as with a lot of times this season, just definitely has a height advantage with the two big sophomores with Christian Witt and Parker Bash. And then that pick and roll offense, really focusing on getting the ball to those guys.
Maybe see if Raymond Central switches to a zone or tries to hedge and stop the screener there and stop the ball so that they can stop the inside attack from the Crusaders.
Yeah, it's something that even teams that play the Lincoln Christian varsity team, they try to switch and they just have those big guys like Easton Marshbanks or Drew Buchelman to throw it into. And also it'll be interesting to see if Raymond Central is able to get any pressure on offense driving into the lane and kicking out, because as we saw last Saturday, Lincoln Christian doing a really nice job this season keeping the ball out of the middle and forcing long threes for the opposition.
You know, when they do force those long threes, it's those long rebounds that late in the transition that the Crusaders like, and they like to get those quick layups.
That's off the backdoor cut. That's Wilson who finishes. So Lincoln Christian getting a little lost there. And as you talked about, Raymond Central going to a 2-3 zone now. That's Ehlers off the swing. He's going to take a three. A little short. Clough had the rebound, had it knocked away by his own teammate, and it's out of bounds to Raymond Central. So Lincoln Christian going to face that 2-3 zone, that same thing that Louisville did last Saturday. See if they have the same success that they had in that game, as they did a really good job of moving the ball and getting great looks.
Yeah, last Saturday, Lincoln Christian worked it high-low a lot, and see if they go back to that tonight.
That pass is tipped by Clough on the floor. Wilson comes up with it. Now Rubel has it, guarded by Clough. Now White almost loses it, but retains it. And Christian doing a really good job of keeping it out of the middle. Hansen gets a hand on it. He's all over Wilson.
Looks like Raymond Central's running a little bit of a passing cut offense, just like Louisville did against the Crusaders last Saturday. See if Raymond Central can get those kick-out threes that gave the Crusaders a little bit of struggle against Louisville and made them adjust a little bit.
Cade Marshbanks comes in for Andrew Clough for the Crusaders. Raymond Central going to stay in that 2-3 zone, try to counter that size Lincoln Christian has. They get it in the middle with Witt, back out to Marshbanks, thought about the three, and he gets fouled on the drive. Almost looked like a bailout because Marshbanks tried to shoot that almost, didn't really have anywhere to go, and that foul kind of bailed him out. Ehlers to inbound for the Crusaders.
Looks like the foul was on the floor, even though looked like Cade started to go up with the shot.
Inbounded to Bash, who finishes onside. Just kind of slipped there on the backside of the basket and got a little finish in there. 4-2 lead here for the Crusaders. That's Rubel guarded by Marshbanks. Picked up his dribble as he's going to get a screen. Now Wilson guarded by Hansen. Hansen not letting him go anywhere. Now Grant drives. Kicks Tice, takes a little mid-range shot, and hits it. That's what you got to be careful of, those driving and little kick out for mid-range shots and then three-pointers. That's a swing to Marshbanks, who takes a three. It's long, but right to Ehlers, who finishes.
Yeah, great job by Ben there. Crashing the backside boards, kind of snuck in there undetected and was able to get the putback.
Yeah, that's one of the things they talk about with zones, is it's hard to rebound because you don't really have a man to find. That's a turnover by White. Ehlers with the steal up ahead to Hansen, and he finishes. So a little bit of that pressure causing a turnover there against Raymond Central. That's definitely going to be an advantage for the Crusaders tonight, trying to be active up top, try to force turnovers.
Yeah, especially with the amount of size and length they have on the court, and have great ability to tip those balls and tip those passes that get a little bit away from.
And that's Wilson, who just threw it off Hansen's leg, so he'll stay here with Raymond Central. Joel Photo comes in for Lincoln Christian. Inbounded to Tyson, the corner guarded by Bash. Kind of stagnant right now for Raymond Central. That's Grant. And he's going to get fouled on the drive by, I believe that'll be on Joel Photo. Correction, that was on Ty Hansen. As the inbound is tipped, but Raymond Central is able to recover it. Grant has it up top. Pass is almost stolen by Ehlers. Instead, Rubel drives in. Entry pass. That was into Sodden, who couldn't quite finish, and Lincoln Christian with the rebound. Ehlers drives. Throws it up to Bash. He's double teamed. Try to get it to Marshbanks, but it's a turnover.
Looked like the Crusaders there just got in a little bit of a rush and got a little caught up where they didn't really have anywhere to go, and Raymond Central did a great job forcing a turnover there.
The inbounds passes almost looked like Photo either got like his head or his hand on it, and then Tice just couldn't pick it up, and then it went out of bounds. So Lincoln Christian will get the ball. That's Ty Hansen for the Crusaders. Raymond Central still in this 2-3. Thought about the 3. Instead, it's inside to Bash. Can't quite finish, but Marshbanks is there to clean it up. So even with that 2-3 defense, Lincoln Christian still finding ways to get it inside. And Grant hounded by Photo, and it's out of bounds, staying here with the Mustangs.
And Crusader guards doing a great job of applying pressure to those Raymond Central guards, and we'll see if they'll keep that up or risk the chance of getting caught out of position, which has hurt the Crusaders in the past.
Tyus takes another mid-range shot, and he's 2 for 2 from that spot. One on the left, one on the right. Now Ehlers running the point for the Crusaders, up 10-6. They swing it around. Photo thought about the 3. Instead, they swing it around again. Inside to Marshbanks. Pump fakes. Nearly loses it, but somehow gets it to Bash. And he somehow gets up a shot, can't quite finish it, and then Holden with the rebound. And then he gets fouled, and it'll be underneath for the Crusaders.
Looks like a big part of what's bailing the Crusaders out of some missed shots and stuff is those rebounds, and Raymond Central not being able to find a body on those shots that go up.
Ehlers inbounding into Marshbanks in the middle, and his mid-range shot can't quite roll in. Bash with another offensive rebound, and he gets an and one. Bash guarded by 3 Mustangs and is still able to get a shot up and finish it. That's sophomore Parker Bash trying to complete the 3-point play. And he knocks it down. Grant will set things up for the Mustangs. Guarded by Joel Photo. Tries to drive right, nowhere to go, gets a screen. Photo still all over him. Now that's Wilson, and he's going to draw a foul. That'll be on Joel Photo from the backside.
Looks like that aggressiveness from the Crusaders and their attempts to get steals have kind of caught them in positions where their arms are tangled up with Raymond Central guards, and it's kind of drawn some fouls for the Mustangs there.
That's Rubel who drives baseline and gets fouled. That's just a solid move, faking that spin to the middle and then going baseline. Rubel hits the first. A 5'11 junior. As Christian Witt comes in to give Parker Bash a breather. I think that's his first breather of the game.
Yep.
So over 6 minutes of straight playing time there for Bash. As Rubel's second free throw is no good, but he comes up with the rebound. Now it's on the floor, and Raymond Central will recover. That's Hamann, who just came in the game for the Mustangs. And Holland almost had a steal, but then it looked like just got batted around, and then it looked out of bounds to the Crusaders.
Maybe ended up getting kicked off a Raymond Central knee or foot or something there. Off of Carter's tip.
And Christian just swinging it around the outside against the 2-3. Marshbanks in the middle gets a shot and hits it. That's Hamann bringing it up, guarded by Marshbanks. Photo with the steal. Picks up with the right and finishes. And there's that continued pressure we talked about from the Crusader guards. Now Grant guarded by Photo. Wilson gets a screen as Holen's going to knock it off of Wilson, and it'll be Lincoln Christian ball.
I believe that's the second time Holen's done that in about past 3 or 4 possessions, and he's really doing a great job of getting the ball back in the Crusaders' hands.
Again to the middle to Marshbanks, takes another mid-range shot and hits it again. The Crusaders really like to get into that middle of those 2-3 zones. You can do a lot of damage in there, and Marshbanks hitting 2 mid-range shots in the last couple minutes from that same exact spot.
Yeah, see if the bottom of the zone for Raymond Central kind of starts to come up and try to stop those shots, and if that happens, see if Cade starts to look down into Witt in the low post.
And that's going to be a banked mid-range shot from Wilson after it was a pretty long dry spell for Raymond Central. Not a lot of time. Ehlers heaves it up, and it's going to be short. So at the end of your first quarter, Lincoln Christian takes a 19-9 lead. We are back here with the second quarter of this boys reserve basketball game. Lincoln Christian with a 19-9 lead over the Raymond Central Mustangs after what was a pretty close first couple minutes, but then the Crusaders really blew it open a little bit, forcing some turnovers and getting the ball inside against that 2-3 zone.
Yeah, Cade Marshbanks had some great turnaround jump shots from the free throw line. See if Crusaders continue to go to that, even though they have a new lineup. Might have some new guys in there, and see how they continue to move the ball around with just a new offensive set, I guess.
Yeah, Cade Marshbanks kind of reminds me of a freshman Drew Buchelman almost, with that size and length, but still playing kind of that 3-4 position, and that's a really good guy to have in that middle of the zone. That's Holman for Raymond Central. That's a pass that's going to be stolen by Holland. He's been really active for the Crusaders there in that first quarter, and then again here. Hanson thought about the 3. Instead the Crusaders move it around.
Looks like Raymond Central is starting to take away that high post a little more, and just as we said, that opens up the low post a little bit for Witt to get an easy seal bucket right there.
Yeah, just a great seal there from Witt. And Witt guarding what's right now the point guard for Raymond Central, Holman. Holman has it in the corner. In the middle, that's Garrett Ace, I'm sorry. Nowhere to go, and Clough nearly with the steal, but it's going to be out of bounds staying here. Holman picks up his dribble, and Clough takes advantage with the steal. He's got room, instead he gets it to Hanson, who finishes with the right hand.
Great job there by both Clough and Hanson, running in transition, and Hanson coming in the backside, because it looked like Clough would have had a contested look there if he tried to go up with it.
And there's another steal with Jackson Photo. Up ahead to Hanson again. Spin move. Caught himself under the basket, didn't finish, but Witt's there to clean it up. And the Crusaders reset into Witt. He's a little too strong with it, and Raymond Central with the rebound. Raymond Central are going to slow things up. The Crusaders forcing turnovers on all their possessions so far. There's a close one there. Instead, Rupel takes it all the way with his right hand. So the Crusaders almost forced another steal. Instead, Raymond Central was able to capitalize and finish inside.
Yeah, after pushing in transition quite a few times, looks like Crusaders slowed it down and got that open look three there from Photo.
As you talked about, they're trying to take away that high post, and that time they did it with one of the top guys, but that left Jackson Photo a lot of space to work, as that's another tip there from Holland. Is it's almost stolen again. Instead, Raymond Central still caught, nowhere to go. Instead, so they somehow get it to Rubel, and that forces Raymond Central to call a timeout.
Yeah, it looks like the Crusaders' active hands and pressure are causing a lot of trouble for Raymond Central to get their offensive set and the looks they want.
I mean, it's hard because Lincoln Christian is just all over them. They're not even letting them get across the red line hardly ever. And then if they do, it's just contest. There's always a guy in the passing lane or a hand on the ball. Also, wouldn't be surprised if Raymond Central is able to go on a little run, if Lincoln Christian goes to a press later on, knowing that they can maybe put a little pressure on Raymond Central.
Yeah, we'll see if the Crusaders continue to keep that pressure up or if they kind of drop back and keep everything in front and try not to let those open layups that kind of come out of the chaos of tip balls and stuff that happened last possession for Raymond Central.
Lincoln Christian's lineup, we have Hanson, Clough, Jackson, Photo, Beeman, and then Witt. Raymond Central with Rubel, Wilson, White, Gerdes, and Soden. Lincoln Christian going to a 1-3-1 this time to switch things up. They have him trapped up top. It's out of bounds. It'll stay with the Mustangs. Look for Lincoln Christian on the backside to try to get a lot of steals. That's a pass is too strong, and then Beeman with the steal. Crusaders quickly up ahead inside to Witt. His shot doesn't quite roll around, and then Wilson with the rebound and the quick transition. Crusaders do a nice job of getting back, and then Raymond Central just throws it out of bounds.
Yeah, it looked like Raymond Central there was trying to push, maybe look to get some buckets before the Crusaders can get set in their hands-up defense that tips a lot of balls tonight.
Yeah, he kind of ran down there. I mean, he had like a one-on-one, it looked like, but then the Crusaders were able to get almost everybody back, and Raymond Central had nowhere to go as the Crusaders turn it over again inside as Raymond Central collapses on the middle. That's Wilson guarded by Hanson. Lincoln Christian back into their man-to-man. He takes a little mid-range shot. Witt with the rebound, though. Hanson up ahead to Beeman. Back out to Photo. Swings it to Hanson. Takes a three. No good. Clough with the rebound. No good. And Raymond Central comes up with the rebound.
Looks like the Crusaders switch back to man-to-man after being in that 1-3-1, and looked like Micah Rubel on the take there, fouled by Clough, and almost went all the way, but was cut off by Clough there right on the block.
Yeah, I'm starting to think this 32 might not be Rubel because we have two 32s on here. I think this one is different than one of them we've had in there. So we've been calling both of them Rubel tonight. I don't know which one's Rubel and which one's Edwards. So we'll try to figure that out for you. That inbound tried to throw it off Bigler's leg, but he just jumped over it, and Raymond Central's fortunate to come up with that, but a good heads-up play there from Bigler. That's Wilson guarded by Joel Photo, nowhere to go. And then Photo gets a hand on the pass, but Raymond Central comes up with it somehow, and then Wilson is blocked from behind by Photo. That's Tice back in the game for the Mustangs. The inbounds pass is tipped, but it'll stay here with the Mustangs. I'm still trying to figure who this 32 is, and there's no way to tell difference because they're both 5'11 here, and they're both number 32. So we might just have to pick one and stick with it for a while. As that inbound is stolen by Photo, and he's going to get a foul or draw a foul on transition.
Looks like the Crusaders continuing to disrupt those passes and push in transition and try and get some layups there out of their break.
Raymond Central still in that 2-3, really trying to deny that high post. Short corner Marshbanks, they get it out, swing it. Now in the middle to Bigler. He kicks it out to Ehlers in the corner. Crusaders being really patient. Now Ehlers goes baseline. Swings it to Photo, drives baseline. And they'll reset.
Looks like Raymond Central has kind of dedicated one of those top guys in the 2-3 to guarding the high post and letting their guys that play the bottom outside to kind of take those wings and guard the guards on the outside so that they can eliminate the high post play from the Crusaders.
Yeah, as Joel Photo's going to shoot 2 free throws here. That was kind of their problem in the first quarter, is they kept letting it get inside, and then when they started to try to bring other guys over to help, that would just leave one of the wing guys open because the bottom guys from the zone weren't getting out there. So a good adjustment there from Raymond Central. As Photo hits the second one. That's Homan bringing it up for Raymond Central, guarded by Marshbanks. A good back cut there into, that was White who couldn't finish. But that was probably one of the better looks Raymond Central's had all game. They get up to Marshbanks, nobody picks him up, takes a three, no good. Photo's there with the rebound, and he finishes.
Crusaders continuing to do a great job of crashing those backside boards and get some of those easy putbacks that have gotten them a lot of points here in this first half.
That's going to be a turnover as the pass was just too strong. Marshbanks quickly up ahead to Ehlers, who goes baseline, and he takes it all the way to finish. That's Grant, guarded by Ehlers. As the Crusaders continue to not hardly let anything inside the three-point line. And that's going to be a turnover. Ehlers pushing up ahead. Good pass to Marshbanks, who finishes.
Crusaders continuing to push the ball and try to beat Raymond Central back in transition and continuing to get layups without having to work through that zone. That has slowed them down a little bit.
That's Wilson, guarded by Photo. That's Holman trying to go somewhere, but Marshbanks all over him. In the middle, that's Grant. Tried to get it back to Grant after the back cut, but a steal by Ehlers quickly up ahead to Marshbanks, and he finishes again. The Crusaders really just winning this game from defense to offense really quick right now.
Maybe one of the halftime adjustments Raymond Central makes is kind of trying to get back in defense a little bit better and take care of the ball there on the offensive possessions.
And that's something you can do if you're playing against really aggressive defense. A good back cut there. And that's going to be Coach Graz for Lincoln Christian calling a timeout. Cade Marshbanks right now with 10 for the Crusaders. As the Raymond Central just probably had one of their better possessions of the game, as they had that entry into Tice and then a great back cut after the Crusaders are being super aggressive, so that those back cuts are going to be there.
Yeah, maybe look to see if Raymond Central goes back to see if they draw up a play or if they kind of just look for that more as the back cuts, as they've kind of caught the Crusaders out of position, as the Crusaders have continue to try and tip balls and get there in transition.
Something maybe else to look for Raymond Central is if they maybe start setting some screens to get some of those guys open, because they're having trouble just handling the ball up top. Maybe try to free up some of their guards. Carter Holland to bring it up for the Crusaders. It's Holland, Beeman, Bigler, Marshbanks, and Parker for the Crusaders. They swing it around to the corner. Marshbanks takes a three. Short, Bash with the rebound. Back to Marshbanks, a little closer on the mid-range, and he hits that one. That's White guarded by Beeman. And that's a steal from Bigler. And he tried to get it inside the Holland, tipped around. And they're going to say Bigler was didn't establish position before he touched it again.
Looked like he just didn't quite get another foot in, like as you said.
Under 20 seconds to go, see if Raymond Central holds for the last shot. They can't because Holland steals it. And he's too strong, but Bash is there to clean it up for him.
It's probably close to 5 steals there for Holland. He can maybe get quite a few steals this game.
For sure, as time's running out for Raymond Central, that's going to be Garrett Ace takes a wild shot, no good. So a dominant quarter there to finish the half for the Crusaders. They'll take a 40-13 lead in halftime.
I guess my philosophy is one, just to keep it simple, investing in them, enjoying the opportunities, whether that's a win or a loss, whatever that looks like, and embracing it, and really thinking about the more than basketball. It's bigger than the game. It's bigger than the 4 years maybe that you get to work with them, and you hope that you have a lasting impact that they'll carry with them. It's pretty cool when you know that you've had maybe a little bit of an impact and shape and mold their decisions and kind of where they're at now. My name is Nick Raduna, and I was the girls basketball head coach for the last 20 years. And I'm a proud alum of Lincoln Christian High School. Started here in 3rd grade and went all the way through. My 2 younger sisters also attended here, and my mom even worked here for several years, and so this is home for us, the Lincoln Christian School family. Always loved athletics, and got into wrestling when my dad was a wrestler, and did that for a while. But it was pretty soon I found a basketball, like 4th, 5th grade. Got to play in a couple leagues and stuff like that, and kind of wrestling kind of faded into the past, and basketball kind of became my main thing. I remember Jerry Schmuddy from Nebraska Wesleyan was kind of the big one for me, where he saw me at his summer camps that I went to every summer, and showed interest in me, and it really we created a great relationship. And he was a player's coach and very relational, and I'll never forget just the unique and special relationship that we had. Again, I wanted to be in the arena of athletics, and I didn't know what that looked like, whether it was a strength coach or being an athletic trainer. And so when the opportunity came open, not only to teach here but to also coach, that was very exciting, because I was pretty young coming out of college and getting an opportunity to be a head coach here. So as a young coach, I needed to learn balance, because I was consumed with it. As I'm older, and things I've learned is just to be balanced in your approach to things, and enjoy it, embrace it, but make sure you manage your time wisely and make time for what's most important. Several of our athletes, they would get consumed with their sport. It became something that was actually an idol. And so challenging them and kind of using my own experiences, there's many times in high school and college where basketball was an idol. Being able to coach them and then also have them in class and get to challenge them and to teach them from the Bible, from God's Word, and then we can live that out on the court or in life. Again, it's just about being aware of those things and taking advantage of opportunities to speak into their life. You hope all the time and energy that you have placed in this has helped to make a great name for the school, but ultimately is you want to point people to Christ, that He would be glorified in all that is done in and around the school. It's a very special place. You know, one of our tags at Lincoln Christian is more than basketball, and after basketball, and you still can have those relationships and still have impact on their lives. And it's cool, especially with girls, to see, you know, they get married and have kids, and to kind of see how they turn out. It's pretty cool. I'm very thankful for this school and the freedom that I've had to get at students' heart, and for the support I've had from the administration and really the Lincoln Christian family, parents, players, everybody. It's been a really rich experience for me, and one I know I'll look back and be thankful for.
Goofy, talkative, shy, silly, playful. Every student is different. Some love to read, some love exploring made-up worlds, and others can't get enough time with their friends. But behind every student is a story based on likes and dislikes, topics that ignite excitement, and experiences that shape their young lives. At Lincoln Christian School, we think knowing the story of each student is an important part of what we do, because knowing their stories means we can instruct their hearts and minds and call them to academic excellence and spiritual growth. It means encouraging their strengths and helping them overcome challenges. It means directing their hearts toward the one who knows their story best and helping them understand how to live out the gospel each day. Our deepest desire is that our students would see and experience more of Christ through our school, whether they're learning their ABCs, reading their first book, testing hypotheses, or applying for college. We believe the best thing we can do for our students is to help them understand how their story fits into God's story. We want Lincoln Christian to be a place where students feel known by teachers, faculty, staff, classmates, and by the God who loves and cares for their hearts. Because it's about more than just school and more than an excellent education. It's about a story, their story, our story, and His story.
My name is Mrs. Paulson, and I teach 4th grade here at Lincoln Christian School. My favorite season is summer, my favorite holiday is Christmas, and my favorite school supply are flare pins. What I love about 4th grade at Lincoln Christian is the relationships and the conversations that I'm able to have with 4th graders. They're just a little wiser and a little in-depth, and we get to have great conversations about the Bible. I love where they are in the learning process. Sometimes I think there's a little bit of scary in 4th grade math, and I love to take away the scary and replace it with a confidence. And I love teaching 4th grade at Lincoln Christian School.
Blue, Marty Riley, the elementary principal. I'd like to thank you for watching the Crusader Sports Network. Go Crusaders!
We are back here for the third quarter of tonight's boys reserve basketball game. Lincoln Christian, after a dominant first half, takes a 40-13 lead over the Raymond Central Mustangs.
Yeah, in the first half, leading scores for the Crusaders were Cade Marshbanks with 12, where half of those came from turnaround jumpers at the free throw line. And then Joel Foto with 6 and Parker Bash with 8. Ty Hansen and Ben Ewers both chipping in 4 there too.
Yeah, something Coach Noah Borgman talked about in the locker room for the Crusaders. He talked about forming good habits for the whole rest of the season, because they might be beating this Raymond Central team by a lot right now, but they have to form good habits for when they play better teams.
Yeah, one thing the Crusaders struggled with a little bit that Raymond Central was able to capitalize on was back cuts, and Crusaders had a lot of tipped passes and got a lot of steals in the first half that led to transition, but Raymond Central also capitalized on great back cuts that led to easy, simple layups. And see if they go back to those and see if the Crusaders do a little bit better job of getting the help side and not being quite as aggressive on the perimeter.
Lincoln Christian are going to stay with the same starting lineup with Clough, Hansen, Ehlers, Witt, and Bash. And we figured out that the 32 was Rubel and that the other 32 hasn't played yet tonight. So I guess I just was confused. So that's what we got.
Happens to the best of us.
Raymond Central still in there. 2-3. They get a Crusaders get a skip to Ehlers in the corner. He hits a 3.
Great kind of flare screen there from Bash on the bottom of the zone that led to that tripped up Rubel just a little bit and led to a great open 3 from Ehlers.
And that's Wilson who drove, or Grant who drove right and then just lost it out of bounds. And the Crusaders like to run that little flare screen against the 1-3-1 and 2-3 zones to start quarters or timeouts and stuff like that. They get it into Witt, who swings it to either the same spot. This time it's short, and Grant with the rebound. That's Rubel guarded by Ehlers. Gets in the paint, kicks it out. Grant airballs the 3 and Clough with the rebound. Quickly up ahead, Ehlers to Bash, and he finishes inside. So great transition against the zone from the Crusaders.
Yeah, that's one thing the varsity likes to do is push and try and see if they can get their big man coming down the court for those layups, finish inside, and looks like the reserve is kind of caught on there a little bit as well.
And there's another one of those back cuts you were talking about with, that's Tice to Rubel off the back cut, and Rubel's going to go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. This is the first. The second one's in and out, and the Crusaders will come up with it. Crusaders going to be content to get great possessions here as they get inside to Bash. Kicks it out Clough, back to Hansen, takes a 3. No good. Witt with the offensive rebound. Can't quite finish it. Fighting for the rebound again, and he's going to get called for the foul.
Looked like Witt just got a little too aggressive there, and the ball kind of got out of control of his. He kind of chased after it, and was caught going over the back there.
Yeah, that was a great look for the Crusaders, though, with the inside to Bash and then the swing on the outside from Clough to Hansen for a wide open 3. You can't really ask for a much better look. They get it into Tice at the elbow.
Looked like a little bit of a set play there from the Mustangs as got it to the high post and tried to get some back cuts, but Crusaders did a good job of adjusting and taking that away.
They get inside to Rubel, who's double teamed. It'll go out of bounds, but it'll stay with the Mustangs. Rubel to inbound for the Mustangs. They get it inside to Wilson, who takes looked like almost a long 2 or a 3. I couldn't tell if he got his foot back, but it's no good. The Crusaders quickly up ahead the other way. Clough can't quite finish, gets the offensive rebound. Nope. It'll be over the back.
Yeah, the Crusaders there with some quick passes and couldn't quite finish that little 5 to 8 foot floater there from the baseline.
After a hot start for the Crusaders, kind of slowing up. The clock didn't start that entire possession, but it's out of bounds, staying here at the Mustangs. Little elevator screen that gets Wilson open. Out of bounds again to stay here at the Mustangs.
Even in the second half, the Crusaders continuing to be aggressive and try to take away every ball that they can.
This time they're ready for the elevator screen. Try to throw it in the backside to Grant, but it's no good. Or it's out of bounds, I should say. Turnover to the Crusaders. Crusaders with a couple missed layups and missed threes on really good looks. See if they can convert better looks here.
Looks like the Crusaders have switched to a little bit more of a box set instead of that high-low look they were going for, and looks like they're starting to get some guys cutting through the middle and beating Raymond Central with what Raymond Central beat them with in the first half on those back cuts.
That was just a great look. They got to the ball to the short corner. That was Bash, and then Hansen cut in, and then Hansen found Witt on the backside for the wide open layup. As Hansen tips away from Wilson, but Wilson's able to recover. And there's Clough who gets a steal. Back to Hansen, and he finishes. So a quick 4 points from the Crusaders. That's Tice taking a mid-range shot. He hit a couple of those in the first half. This time it's no good. Clough tracks down the long rebound. Throws it up ahead to Hansen, and he finishes. It's a great look there from Clough.
Yeah, it's 2 possessions in a row. Hansen's done a great job of running in transition and beating the opposition down the court and getting those easy layups that the Crusaders like to get, so they don't have to take the time to slow it down and get set in an offense.
That's going to be tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Mustangs, though, as the Crusaders substitute 4 guys in. That's both the Photo twins, Holland and Marshbanks coming in. As Holland's going to get probably, his 6th or 7th steal of the game.
Holland could almost have a double-double off steals if he scores a few more times.
Crusaders still in their box set. A little bit different because they're not really getting anybody in the middle unless the ball goes to the corner. Crusaders content to swing it around. They get into Marshbanks, who flashes, misses the mid-range shot. And the Mustangs the other way. That's Rubel driving left. Gets caught on the baseline, nowhere to go. Gets it inside to, I think that's Sodden, who gets fouled on the way up.
I believe that's the Crusaders' 4th foul of the half already, and as Mustangs begin to get closer to the bonus, maybe the Crusaders continue to be active up top. They can draw a few more fouls and maybe start to get back into this one with those free throws if they can knock them down.
Beeman's going to check in for Witt, who just picked up his 3rd foul. As Sodden can't complete the 2nd one, but it's an offensive rebound from Rubel. Takes a little hook shot and gets it off the glass. Had the long arm of Marshbanks in his face, but was able to get that hook shot. As the Crusaders stay in the box set against the 2-3 zone. Up 51-16. In the corner, Jackson Photo. Gets it inside to Joel Photo. Dumps it down to Marshbanks. Can't quite finish. And that's Tice with the rebound.
Great job there by Tice to kind of stay in position and contest that shot from Marshbanks without getting too aggressive and fouling.
And that's Tice who cleans up the wild shot from Rubel. So a little run there from Raymond Central makes it 51-18. They get inside to Holland, who couldn't quite handle the pass, and Raymond Central the other way. That's Homan in the corner. Wilson takes a three. In and out, and Marshbanks with the rebound.
That could be a look Raymond Central goes back to, as got a great open look there, but just couldn't quite complete the shot.
And the Crusaders answer quickly with a good pass there to Carter Holland, who finishes inside.
Looks like the subbing for the Crusaders has helped them a lot, as they've gotten some fresh legs in there and are really starting to push even more in transition than they were to start.
And that was just unfortunate for the Crusaders, as they got a hand on that ball, and whoever was guarding number 40, Sodden, dove on the ground to pick it up, but Sodden somehow ended up with it, and then there was nobody to guard him as he finished the layup. Inside to Jackson. Photo takes a mid-range shot, in and out. Marshbanks with the rebound, fades away, no good. Beeman with the rebound, outside to Jackson. Photo tries again. That one's no good. Marshbanks is going to get another offensive rebound. Joel Photo thought about it. Instead, they'll reset it. Nope, there goes Alex Beeman with the wild finish, falling down in the paint off the glass.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about playing defense against Crusaders. It's when they sub their backups in, they still have great height and length, and you also have to worry about all the speedy guards that they got coming off the bench.
That was just an athletic play there from Beeman, as Crusaders are going to get called for a foul there. That's going to be on Carter Holland. Holland, who's been very active tonight, causing a lot of turnovers, going to get a lot of deflections for the Crusaders.
Yeah, if he could have gotten away with that one, probably would have been his 7th or 8th steal of the game already, and we're still in the third quarter.
Rubel inbounds it for Raymond Central. That's Garrett guarded by Beeman. Now Rubel drives, throws it with the right hand, no good. Marshbanks with the rebound. And the Crusaders with Jackson Photo leading the charge. In the middle to Marshbanks. Dumps it down to Bigler. Pump fakes. And he traveled. About 40 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Lincoln Christian with a 55-20 lead. As Jackson Photo pokes it away from Sodden. And he finishes on the other end. That was Homan. Never correct that. .20 seconds to play in the third quarter, as Jackson Photo's going to get another steal. And he finishes that one too.
Both Jackson Photo and Carter Holland are racking up a pretty great amount of steals, and see if they can keep that up as the third quarter comes to a close and we head into the fourth quarter.
Raymond Central, there's not enough lot of time, and they're just kind of walking it up, as Rubel had to throw up a one-handed shot. Didn't seem like they really knew how much time was left there. As Lincoln Christian's going to take a 59-20 lead into the fourth quarter when we come back. Back here for the fourth quarter of this reserve game, Lincoln Christian with a 59-20 lead, and I'm going to give a shout out real quick to my grandparents in Missouri watching. As Lincoln Christian's going to get in there still, it's Dalton Fisher coming in for the first time tonight. Little Euro step, can't quite get the finish, but Beeman with the rebound. Out to Gabe Wagner in for the first time, can't finish. And Raymond Central with the rebound. Crusaders emptying their bench here to start the fourth quarter as Jackson Photo with a steal, probably had 3 in the last minute of game time. And the Crusaders going to reset things up. Raymond Central still in that 2-3. Jackson Photo is going to take a 3 off the swing. It's too strong, and that's Tice with the rebound.
You know, as the Crusaders start to bring in a few more players, kind of empty out their size, and they don't have quite as much, see if Raymond Central starts to take advantage of that, as they still have a couple players with great height in the game.
Yeah, but interesting to see how the Crusaders kind of work this rotation because they don't play again until next Monday. So it's not like they're resting some of their starters for games later in the week. They don't play till Monday. Actually, next week is the last week of the season for these reserve guys. As the Crusaders continue to swing it around, look for a perfect look. That's Jackson Photo inside to Beeman, couldn't quite handle the pass. And then he's going to steal the pass right back and then draw a foul.
May have been a good foul on Raymond Central's part as it appeared to stop to another transition layup. The Crusaders have continued to get throughout the entirety of the game.
That's Wagner inbounding for the Crusaders. In the middle, Beeman gets kind of knocked as he shoots that mid-range shot. It's no good, and the Mustangs come up with the rebound. That's Wilson. Doesn't have anywhere to go, and Wagner's going to get a steal on the backside. Pushes up ahead to Beeman, good pass, and he finishes.
Great move there by Wagner to pull it out and avoid the poke from behind, and great full court pass for another transition layup for the Crusaders.
And that's Dalton Fisher who's going to force a 1-on-2 turnover as he was basically just guarding 2 people, and Raymond Central turns it over.
Seems like just about every Crusaders player may have a steal in this game as they've been super aggressive, whether it be down low in the paint or up top on the perimeter.
That's Raymond Central calling a timeout, and as I said a couple minutes ago, Lincoln Christian reserve boys are done next week. They have a tournament down at Norris next week. There's 6 teams there. I don't know exactly all of them, but I know Norris, and I know Beatrice has gone a lot.
Pius
is usually there. Waverly's there. So a lot of bigger Class B schools go down there. It's a great way for those guys to end the season.
Yeah, it always tends to be a very competitive tournament as it's a great matchup for every team in the tournament.
Yeah, there's no teams down there that are going to be pushovers for sure. And then some of these guys will be done, but some of them will stick around for the rest of the JV season for the Crusaders. They get a short corner to Bigler, back out to Holland. Now Wagner thought about the 3. And Dalton Fisher's going to get called for the travel.
You know, just as you were saying about the reserve season coming to an end, it's kind of crazy how fast this season seems to have gone, with everybody starting about 3 weeks late here in Lancaster County, and then it's already almost time for sub-districts on the varsity level.
Yeah. You only have 6 regular season games, and then the sub-districts start for the varsity guys. That's White, who throws up a wild, almost 15-foot left-handed hook shot, and he gets it to fall down. That's short corner Bigler out to Wagner. Crusaders continue to be patient, even with their subs in, as Wagner's going to take that 3. That one's long and out of bounds to Raymond Central. And we do have a running clock now as the Crusaders were able to get up by 40 points. And even though it's not 40 now, once you get over 40, and even if you get back under 40, it still's a running clock. They get inside. That's White again. This time fading away, no good. And Wagner at the rebound.
Couldn't quite replicate that running hook shot that he had on the last possession there.
The magic of that shot. That's Wagner to Bigler. That's going to be stolen up top by Wilson. He gets swarmed, and then he gets it up to 20. That's Grant. Now it's on the floor again. Holman dives on it, throws it up, somehow gets it to Beeman, who gets it up to Bigler, who finishes with the layup.
Great hustle there by Holman to kind of get that redemption and get that ball back after turning it over there.
That's Grant guarded by Wagner now. Sodden guarded by Bigler. Tries to back him down, nowhere to go. Wilson guarded by Holland. Pump fakes, then shoots it and gets it off the glass.
One thing that Raymond Central has done a pretty good job is of using the backboard, as it seems about a lot of their shots have kind of come from shots that they've kind of been on the move and done a great job of having some great touch off the backboard.
That's a great ball movement there from Bigler, short corner, and then a Beeman who finished with the layup. That pass is going to be too strong, and Bigler on the backside with the steal. Good behind the back move. Gets it inside to Beeman. A little too strong, though, and it'll be out of bounds to Raymond Central.
Beeman was open on that backside block. Looked like that pass may have gotten tipped or kind of altered in some way.
Under 3 minutes to go. Lincoln Christian up 65-24. Kicks it out. That's Garrett Ace long on the three. That'll be out of bounds to the Crusaders. That's Holman who checks back in for the Mustangs. Carter Holland setting things up for the Crusaders. That's Fisher who takes a three, and he hits it.
You know, it looks like as Crusaders kind of started to swing the ball around there, Raymond Central kind of got caught up expecting the next pass, and Dalton Fisher did a great job of having a pump fake there and hitting that open three.
That's Holman who tried to answer, couldn't quite. Another good pass from Wagner up to Beeman who finishes.
You know, Wagner continuing to do a great job of getting the ball out and finding guys up court running in transition and gotten the Crusaders a couple points that way.
That ball's on the ground. It'll be a jump ball. And this one will go to the Crusaders. Something I'm sure the Crusader staff has to feel good about is the intensity has not really dropped when these subs are coming off the bench. They're still moving the ball really well against the 2-3 zone, and the defensive intensity is still there, still forcing turnovers. So you have the guys doing the right thing all throughout the program.
And that's one thing Crusaders did mention at halftime is not giving up that intensity when they had a little bit of a lead, and looks like the Crusaders had nothing to worry about.
That pass was nearly turned over, but the Crusaders were able to corral it. They swing it around to Wagner, who takes a three. It almost banks around and in, and Bigler cleans it up with the rebound. They try to get it into Wagner, and that'll be a foul on the pass. And the clock runs under a minute, so that'll be the fifth on Sodden, who has to check out of the game now. As the clock hits 40 seconds, Lincoln Christian up 70-24 as this thing wraps up. They get in the corner off the flare screen again to Wagner. It's long. Fisher with the offensive rebound, though. Into Bigler, and he's going to get fouled. So
looks like as Bigler goes to shoot these free throws, the clock will kind of start to run out here as it is a running clock, and this will probably be how we finish up the game.
Yeah, but with 10 seconds left, he still has 2 free throws to shoot. This will be it. There's some just extra reps in for the sophomore Jake Bigler. First one banks in.
You know, it's almost like he's shooting free throws at practice, just he has about 100 people's eyes instead of eyes watching him. Might feel a little bit of pressure there.
And the second one is clean. And that'll do it for us tonight. Lincoln Christian with a dominant 72-24 victory over the Raymond Central Mustangs. Really just pushing the ball in transition, getting great looks against 2-3, forcing turnovers. Just a great all-around performance from the Crusaders.
And to finish up your game, the leading scorers for the Crusaders were Cade Marshbanks with 12, Parker Bash with 10, and Alex Beeman and Ty Hansen both contributing 8. And looking at the roster here, it looks like just about almost every Crusader scored as a great offensive show from the whole team.
Yep, and that'll do it for us tonight. From Kobe Hansen, Andrew Johnson, Keith Miles, and Luke Laffer, thanks for watching.